Hey guys, Segastar here. I know this really isn't the typical video I would make, but I thought I'd try something new. Someone in the comments section of my last video requested a Greek Legend of the Mermaid cover, and it kind of got me thinking about all the different dubs of this song that exist out there, both official and unofficial. That kind of made me want to do a ranking video for Legend of the Mermaid because there's so many versions out there to dissect. For this video, we're just going to focus on the official versions. Anyway, before I start, I just want to say that these rankings and opinions are just that. They're just my opinions. If you disagree with me or you have your own list, please write it in the comments. I'd love to hear what your ranking would be. Anyway, without further ado, this is my ranking of the different dubs of Legend of the Mermaid. Number 10. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm Portuguese. That's a huge reason why I've done a couple of covers in Portuguese, and I'm probably going to do some more in the future. The thing about Portuguese dubs is that they tend to use way too much nasal tones, and it's really off-putting. I know that Portuguese, especially Brazilian Portuguese, is a language that uses a lot of nasally sounds and pronunciation, but this is just way too much. I was really disappointed the first time I heard this. Let me just talk about each of the three main mermaids here. Lucia's singing voice is Ana Vieira, and the best comparison I can make is to Elsa's Brazilian voice, in the sense that both of these women can definitely sing, but neither of them fit their character or song at all. As for Rena's singing voice, Barbara Lorenzo, I'm really sorry, I don't think she did that well with Legend of Mermaid. When all three of them sing together, you can just hear Barbara Lorenzo's off-key. You can kind of hear it in this clip. This is Mermaid Melody. None of the singers should be out of key this much. The whole conceit of the show is that they have pearls to make them perfect singers. As for Carla Garcia, Hannon's singing voice, she does a pretty good job. Ultimately, though, I can't rate this version any higher. The only saving grace it has is that Ana, though she doesn't fit the character or song, can definitely sing. And I also have to give credit to whoever directed the singing, because this version of the song does include some unique inflections that no other versions have. I know I'm not really explaining that well, but if you just listen to this version versus the other dubs of this song, you'll notice that it's definitely different in some areas, and that does make it stand out in a good way. Number 9. I like the Hebrew version, but nothing about any of the singers really stands out as notable. They all give on-par performances and their voices are fitting, but this version of the song just sounds a little weak. Out of the three, I'd say Hannon's singing voice is the best and the strongest. If Lucia and Rena's singing voices were stronger, then I'd be able to rank this higher, but as it stands, this is my ranking. Number 8. The Korean version of the song is a marginal improvement on the previous two. While I think that the singers are good, none of them really fit their characters. The thing that I'm really confused about is that they got singers specifically to do like the singing portions for this dub, and it's not that they're bad. I want to stress that they're not bad, but they're not that good either. They're a bit off key in some areas, and I don't really think that they fit the character. So this is what my ranking ended up being. Number 7.
No puedo recordar ni una sola nota.
Impulsada por el viento del atardecer.
In my honest opinion, all three of these singers do a good job with this song, with the exception of Maria de Juan, who's Hannon's singing voice. I think that she's the best out of the three. Her voice is very cute, it's very preppy, and I think that she's just a perfect Spanish Hanon. Carolina de Juan, who did Lucia's singing voice, she has a very cute and very fitting voice, but it sounds like she's struggling throughout the performance, unfortunately, and I don't even think that she was satisfied with it, because I've seen multiple clips from the Spanish dub, and they redid Lucia's Legend of Mermaid like a few times, so I'm not sure what's happening there. The only clip I could find of Rina singing just sounds like they're using the same singer as Hanon, which really doesn't fit at all. I know it's the same singing voice, but I'm giving Rina a slightly lower score because you cannot just put Hanon's singing voice on Rina's body. It doesn't work, you know? Overall, though, it's a good version, just not the best. I think that there are some versions that are better. Number 6. Okay, we're starting to get into the versions that I really love. Ranking this one and the next one was actually really difficult. And in terms of the out of 40 ranking that I'm doing, they actually tie. The number 5 choice just barely edges out ahead of this version, though, and I'll go over why in a bit. But let me just talk about the mermaids. I'm going to try my best to pronounce the singers' names. Lucia's singing voice is Nathalie Delatte, and I think that she does a really great job, but the only thing is that I feel that she can be a little shouty at times. As for Rina, her singing voice is Je ne fais pas rire, and the thing is that I love her performances in pretty much every song in Mermaid Melody, but I just don't like her Legend of Mermaid. I just think that Lucia's singing voice did a better job. My favorite out of the three of them, though, is easily Hanon's singing voice, Mélanie Dermont. Her version of this song is totally awesome because she has this amazing energy and vibrato, and it's just perfect for Hanon. The other thing that I have to mention, though, about the French dub of this show is that they use this echo effect, and I really don't want to take points away for something that isn't related to the singer's performances, but this effect just makes everything sound so much worse than it actually is. It's so distracting and off-putting, and I can't lie, it's affecting the ranking. That's why this is at number 6 and not at number 5, and it's such a shame since there are scenes in the French dub where this effect isn't present, and they're so much better. So anyway, that is my final ranking. Number 5. Okay, this was super confusing to research. Lucia's singing voice was done by one person, and then someone else did the singing voices for both Hanon and Rina. What's confusing about it, though, is that these two women have the same first name, so I got confused a lot while I was doing the research. The singing voice for Lucia is, in my opinion, the best one so far. And then specifically for Legend of Mermaid, this version is the first one so far to really have that perfect combination of emotion, power, and control. That being said, while I do think that Hanon's singing voice is good, I don't think it's as good as Lucia's version. And then specifically regarding Rina, because they use the same voice that they did for Hanon, I'm taking a point off because that voice fits Hanon, but it really doesn't fit Rina at all. You need kind of a deeper, more mature voice for Rina. At the end of the day, Lucia's singing voice is superior, and you can hear this when they sing together. And I'm not too sure why, like specifically for Legend of the Mermaid, Lucia's singing voice just does a way better job than the other two. You know, it's not like they're bad or anything, but I just think Lucia's singing voice did a better job. So because of that, this is my final ranking. Number 4. Chinese dubs of anime tend to be very solid adaptations, and this is no exception. All three of these singers do a great job with this song, and they fit the original voices so well, probably better than any other dub in my opinion. The thing about this and many other Chinese dubs, though, is that they tend to be a little bit too polished and too perfect, and I know that sounds weird, but it's kind of at a detriment. It feels like they're trying to emulate the original voices too much, and for that reason they kind of lack a little bit of originality. Out of the three here, though it's close, I'd say Rina's singing voice is my favorite, though her performance does feel more like kind of an emulation of Mayumi Asano. I do like the unique, calm, motherly tone that she has. Ultimately, this is an amazing version, and you should check it out if you haven't heard it before, and that's why it's ranked so high. Number 3. The Greek version of this song is simply amazing. The emotion that these women sing with is just unparalleled among all the dubs, and that's really saying something given all the other amazing versions that are on this list. Whenever I listen to this version, it just feels like Lucia's singing voice is gonna just burst into tears just from the amount of emotion she puts into it. If I'm being nitpicky, the only real criticism I have is that these singing voices are a bit too mature for the characters. They sound like they're older than teenagers, and that can kind of be a little distracting at times. Also, a lot of these voices sound very similar. I legitimately thought at one point that it was one person doing all the mermaids. Honestly, all these things are really minor though. They don't really take away from the enjoyability of the song at all. Out of the three of them, Lucia is my favorite, but they're all incredibly talented, and that's why the ranking landed where it did. Number 2. Okay, I know what you're saying. That's not an official version. The Italian dub of this show had different songs. Well, I'm sorry guys, but I'm counting this as an official dub of the song. Why? Because the original singers from the Italian dub are the ones singing it. I mean, how could you get more official than that, right? These women are each so talented, and they have such unique voices. I think out of the three of them, Hannon's singing voice is my favorite. It's just so unbelievably powerful and soothing. That being said, I mean, it's kind of hard to pick favorites. I love all three singers. They're all unbelievably talented. The only weird thing I noticed was that they may have been using auto-tune in this song, which, I mean, it doesn't sound like that for most of the song, but there's just this one moment at the end. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. For that reason, I do have to take a point off for the overall performance, but I mean, either way, this version is spectacular. Number 1. It's hard to beat the original, since it feels like this song was engineered specifically for the original singers. When I listen to this song, I just immediately feel calm and happy, and it's been that way since I first watched this anime over 10 years ago. I love all the Mermaid melody songs, but Legend of the Mermaid is the only one that I genuinely never get tired of, and that love I have for it is rooted in the original version. Asumi Nakata, who's the voice of Lucia, does a fantastic job with this song, and so do Hannon and Rina's voices, Hitomi Terakado and Mayumi Asano. Out of the three of them though, Mayumi is probably my favorite. I just love how deep and powerful her voice is, but I love all three of them. Oh, and here's a fun fact. Asumi Nakata and Hitomi Terakado, they were both teenagers when they did this. I can't even believe that. I mean, to have that level of talent at that age is just so impressive. So ultimately, the original is the best. At the end of the day, all of these versions have something unique to offer, and even though some are better than others, there aren't any that I outright hate or even dislike. Which version of this song is your favorite? Leave your ranking in the comments and let me know if you want more videos like this. I'll see you all soon.